RIMS is global. Discover why 10,000 of your peers in more than 60 countries are part of the world's largest risk management community. Visit rims.org/membership to find the best membership for you and your organization. Public registration is open for RISKWORLD 2026, which will be held May 3rd through the 6th in Philadelphia. Visit rims.org/RISKWORLD to register. Coming to you from RIMS headquarters in New York, this is RIMScast, the official podcast of the Risk and Insurance Management Society. I am Justin Smulison, Business Content Manager here at RIMS, and your proud RIMScast host. This is episode 383. Our guest is Tom Armstrong. He is a Global Risk Management Director at Comcast, and he is also the president of the Delaware Valley Chapter of RIMS, which is celebrating its 75th anniversary. Lots to discuss. But first, let's talk about virtual workshops, starting with the RIMS CRMP. The next RIMS CRMP exam prep course will be April 21st and 22nd, and then again June 9th and 10th. Links to registration are on this episode's notes. On to virtual workshops. On April 15th, we have a virtual workshop covering emerging risks, and that will be led by our good friend Joseph Mayo. Register today and strengthen your risk knowledge. RIMS members always enjoy deep discounts on the virtual workshops. And we've got RIMS webinars coming up on April 16th, Zurich. And World Travel Protection will present Navigating the New Global Risk Landscape, Lessons for Business Travelers in Unstable Times. Register for webinars at rims.org/webinars and through the links on this episode's show notes. And folks, for more RIMS content, head over to YouTube and subscribe to @RIMS Official Channel. There you will find video podcasts, RIMScast Canada video podcasts, and other informative and entertaining content from RIMS. We've got some more plugs coming up later. Let's get on with the show. Our guest today is a director of global risk management at Comcast. He oversees construction, crime, contracts, and executive risks. We will learn what it takes to be a global risk director for one of the top communications companies in the world, as well as a household name and brand. And we're also going to talk about all the joviality surrounding the Delaware Valley Chapter as they celebrate their 75th anniversary. And they happen to be the host city for RISKWORLD 2026, so we'll learn what they've got in store for us. Let's get to it. Tom Armstrong, welcome to RIMScast. All right, I am joined by Tom Armstrong. He is the Director of Global Risk Management at Comcast, big position there, and he's the president of the Delaware Valley Chapter here at RIMS. So it's a real, you've got two big roles right there, my friend.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm fortunate to hold the positions that I hold. In both cases, I'm one of a team that makes it happen, but happy to talk a bit about what I do.
He's cutting us a slice of humble pie here on RIMScast. All right, Tom. So Tom, yes. You've held several roles at Comcast in their risk organization, from supervisor to senior manager. Now you're director of global risk management. I would love it if you would just give us the abridged version of your career and some of the early experiences or mentors that shaped your decision to continue in risk management, because I know you didn't intend to start in risk management. That I know about you.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, as you allude to, I went to Temple University with all intention of being a music education major, spent 2.5 years learning or expecting to learn to conduct high school choirs and marching bands. And about 2.5 years into a 4-year degree, I realized, hey, this really isn't prepping me to do exactly what I want to do. And it's not known for being a lucrative career in education, particularly in the arts. So I went over to the business school, where I was so fortunate to take an introduction to risk course taught by Professor Barbara Manaka, who's now the chair of the department there at Temple, who tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, I think you'd make a great risk manager. And I hope I've done her proud in the time since then. So between her, Professor Robert Drennan, and the rest of the wonderful staff at Temple, I finished my 4-year degree in only 5 years. And was very fortunate to be one of the few people who's hired into a risk management role straight out of school.
Wow.
So I worked for a company called CDI, but it was 2008. The position was eliminated, and I moved over to Aramark after a short pause. spent about 3.5 years in the risk department at Aramark, learned a lot of amazing lessons. And then I got a call saying that Comcast was looking for someone to help them with the review of insurance language and contracts. I was a contractor for my first 18 months at Comcast. So there was some change in the organization. A former risk manager departed. A new risk manager came on board who is still our SVP to this day, Sandy Aspinall, and he brought me in-house. There was quite a bit of kind of change at that point. So I came on board as a senior analyst, doing nothing but reviewing insurance language and contracts, was able to add on some additional scope. I supported construction and I still support that to this day. Spent some time supporting property. Now I support executive risks, our crime program, and really whatever else comes up that needs some support. Just like the rest of our team, I'm happy to step up.
Outstanding. All right. So that's a lot right there. Have you found any correlation between music and marching band and risk management?
In some ways, yes. And it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a tangent, but I think that I never really had all that great a talent for music, if I'm being honest with you. What I really liked was the community that a marching band or a choir brought to me as a, kid in high school. And I found that this industry can give me a lot of that same community. It's why I want to be a part of RIMS. It's why I stepped up to lead a RIMS chapter. And it's why I appreciate my peers at Comcast.
Excellent. And then quickly further down that rabbit hole, just for a moment, when did you join RIMS?
I joined RIMS through kind of meeting participation early in my career, going back to maybe 2009, 10.
Oh, so right after that first position. Yeah.
Yeah, Aramark was good enough to support my involvement in just visiting and joining certain meetings. But it
Yeah.
wasn't until 2017 that I stepped up to be treasurer of the Delaware Valley Chapter. I've been president now for about 3 years.
Okay. And then just to cue in our audience there, 2017 is the year where there was a nice transition. I was actually hired in 2017, and Robert Cartwright Jr. became our president, I believe, in early 2018. So I think some positions were vacated because he had to move out of the Delaware Valley chapter to serve as our president. And so that's probably when you started moving up the ranks there in Delaware Valley.
Certainly, yeah. Deborah Saunders was a former treasurer and colleague of mine at Comcast. She stepped out of that role and I stepped into it.
Yeah.
And I would say we're very happy things have come full circle. And Mr. Cartwright's back on as our director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So he's a huge asset to the chapter and has been to the industry.
He is one of my favorite people. So I think very highly of him and of you, of course. And back to you. Let's talk a little bit about your role as director of global risk management at Comcast. It sounds really prestigious. Is it I mean, work isn't supposed to be fun, but do you enjoy your work?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'm one of 6 directors and senior directors on the team, all reporting up to Sandy. We each have our little slice of the business, but I get to work on some really cool stuff. I mean, we, as an organization, we deal with cable and internet delivery, which might not sound sexy, but there's some fun elements to it. We deal with theme parks and movie studios, and we put solar panels on roofs. And there's just so much that this organization does that, when I joined Comcast, I thought I was just going to work for the boring cable company, and it has been light years more than that.
In a company as large and complex as Comcast, effective risk management relies on partnership across the business. I'm sure you'll agree with me there. So can you share an example of some of that collaboration that we discussed? And do you collaborate with other departments and functions such as legal, compliance, or technology? So let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. We sit at the corporate level in Comcast, but we have responsibility across all of our subsidiaries with only a very few exceptions that have their own approach to risk. So with that said, we have no line authority over any of those people. So everything that we do is through demonstrating our value, persuading through convincing arguments, and really demonstrating our value within the organization. It is extremely rare that someone from our team will come in and say, risk management says you have to do it X way. But what we will say is, you're not going to say risk management approved this unless we work together and we provide you with the advice that we think let you do your business in a way that protects the organization while letting you do the cool and inventive things that you do.
Excellent. So would you say it strengthens your risk posture as I sit up in my chair in a 90-degree angle?
Absolutely. I mean, from day one until now, I've been involved in the review of insurance language and contracts, which means that between myself and the young woman on my team, we review 1,500 contracts in a year. our risk posture kind of is what it is because we care about what we're doing from the smallest contracts up to the biggest engagements. And that comes with informing business leaders to make good choices.
Okay, so contracts are complex.
Yes.
You would agree. I would think so. Do you dream about them? Do you have nightmares about them, or do you dream pleasantly about them?
I can't say I dream about the contracts, but from day one, my boss has said, I don't know how your eyes don't cross reading these contracts every day. But for me, it's a framework through which I can look at the operations of the business. I care if we're requiring commercial general liability from a contractor that's going to enter our customers' homes. If somebody's in a position to injure our clients, we want to make sure that they have the financial wherewithal to make it right. Similarly, people that we entrust customer data with, or people that design attractions in our parks, or people that are licensing intellectual property that we're distributing. In all of those situations, we care about how we're engaging.
Do you want to mention a particularly challenging time that the risk framework was put to the test, or a certain type of challenge that you frequently encounter that puts the risk framework to the test?
Certainly. So I don't know that our risk framework has changed, but the nature of the business to which we apply it has changed again and again and again throughout our time. When I came on in 2012 as a contractor, we were just starting to acquire NBCUniversal. So we went from an ISP, an internet service provider, and a cable operator to a multimedia powerhouse with theme parks and movie studios and TV production and all of that. So that was just a massive shift in how we operate as a company. And we in risk management had to wrap our heads around how we now managed this whole new suite of risks. That happened in a different way when we started operating in the United Kingdom after we purchased Sky a few years ago. And again, every time we introduce some new element of our business, we have to figure out how that fits into the way we manage risk.
Gotcha. And streaming, is that a big risk upside or downside that makes its way to your desk on a regular basis? Because you got Peacock, right?
Absolutely. It's a huge piece of our puzzle in terms of how we're approaching our consumers and how we're delivering content. I think from a risk perspective, a lot of it mirrors what we used to do from a linear distribution, but just through very new channels and oftentimes with much less mature partners. So we have to think about how they're capitalizing their own exposures and how that cascades onto what we're doing.
We'll take a quick break. Let's get to some exciting announcements. RIMS is pleased to once again support the FIRMA Global Risk Manager Survey 2026. Now in its second consecutive global edition, the survey, led by FIRMA, brings together insights from Europe, the US, Latin America, Asia Pacific, and Africa, offering a truly international perspective on how the risk management profession is evolving. Surveys are anonymous and the final report is free. The deadline to participate is March 31st. A link is on this episode's show notes. And folks, we got to talk about RISKWORLD. RISKWORLD 2026 will be held May 3rd through the 6th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. RISKWORLD attracts more than 10,000 risk professionals from across the globe. It's time to connect, cultivate, and collaborate with them. Booth sales are open now. General registration and speaker registration is also open right now. And marketplace and hospitality badges are now available. Links are on this episode's show notes, and be sure to check out rims.org for more information. And the RIMS Western Regional Conference will be held October 4th through the 7th in Seattle, Washington. Registration is open, and you can also submit a session. Visit rimswesternregional.com and the link on this episode's show notes for more information. We will have more plugs later. And now let's return to our interview with RIMS Delaware Valley Chapter President Tom Armstrong. So Tom, you've advanced through multiple leadership layers in the risk organization at Comcast. What qualities do you look for when building high-performing risk teams, and how do you cultivate the next generation of risk leaders?
So I'm going to blatantly plagiarize a former colleague of mine and say, you've got to be nosy to do this job.
Got to be nosy.
Yes. It is very common that someone will give you an answer that they think you want to hear when you start asking risk questions. And we've got to ask at least 5 different times, well, why is it like this? And how are you going to achieve that? And how much is this really going to cost? And yes, I know your vendor said that buying insurance is expensive, but can they define expensive? Because 5,000 might be expensive to them and not to us.
Right.
All of those questions, we can't just take an answer at face value. There certainly has to be a level of ethics and willingness to behave with integrity, as well as just a willingness to roll up your sleeves and get the job done.
Are you used to the eye rolls when you have to ask the same question 5 times?
Well, as the saying goes, I'm from corporate and I'm here to help. Um, I think most of my regular partners kind of understand the questions I'm going to ask now, and I don't have to ask why quite as often as I used to because they've already done some of that work. But it helps to know who our partner is and kind of what mindset they've brought to their conversations with their vendors.
Excellent. So how many employees and or interns report to you?
I've got just one right now. Juliana joined our team 2 years ago to help me take some of that contract review work and let me focus on some other things.
Mhm.
Over the past few years, I've had 4 different interns. 2 of them just won an award with in the captive insurance space. Yeah, I'm very proud of the younger members of our team, the newer members of our team. But yeah, we're a very small group in terms of just myself and Juliana.
Did they win a Sika? Is that what they won?
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Congratulations to them.
We just got that news this week.
Excellent, excellent. So let's talk about your management style and what makes for a successful intern, and what's your philosophy there? You seem like a nice guy. You seem like the kind of person who wants to help cultivate some growth.
Sure. It's a little bit cliche to say, but I like to invest in the future of our industry. I like to make sure that I'm helping people learn how to do the job that I do. Um, so I try to view the work that we're giving to these people not just as busy work, but also work that can actually be put to a demonstrable use. Sajad helped us move our file storage from just an old fashioned network drive onto a new SharePoint. Gabriel helped us finish up an internal facing intranet page so that we can deliver advice to our internal colleagues in a more streamlined manner. And all of that came with a reason to go and talk to every single one of our colleagues and understand how their work fits into the bigger risk management picture. So I try to make sure I'm finding ways that their work is meaningful.
Excellent. And you keep in touch with your former interns, obviously. Well, it sounds like you do, at least through LinkedIn or social. I'm sure they posted a picture of them winning the captive award.
Yes, they did, but they also texted me. They asked me for advice a few times over the past couple of weeks, and both of them have been out of my charge for at least 9 months, if not more.
Nice.
Yeah, I try to build these relationships for the long term, although of course it's up to them if they'd like to continue it. But so far they've taken me up on it.
Is Comcast the sort of place where they're growing their risk departments or risk organization?
We've been fairly stable for the last few years. As much as we would love to have additional hands on deck, and we could certainly find meaningful work for them, there's also a budget to be mindful of, just like there is in every other department throughout the organization. So, yeah, we could find a reason for more hands, but I'm not sure if we're going to get them soon.
Tom, I was in Orlando last year and I noticed a new sign in Orlando. It wasn't for Universal Studios anymore. It was for a new version of that. Tell us what it's called.
Sure. We've got Universal's Epic Universe, which opened late last year, or I guess late spring last year. We still have our existing Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and Volcano Bay theme parks. This is in addition to. But yeah, Epic Universe was such a cool project to work on.
Yeah.
I started working on the project probably in late 2018, 2019.
Oh, wow.
We put that park together in conjunction with our partners at Universal Creative. I should say they put the park together. I just insured the thing. But we started working on that park in the run up to the year 2020, and one big notable thing in our industry happened. So as COVID started to become more noticeable, we were just about to bind coverage on the construction program for Epic Universe, and it's a massive undertaking. We're talking about 2,000 acres. We had 1,200 contractors, 7,000 people on site. And just as we were about to hit bind, COVID happened. So we had to pause our whole marketing efforts. And about 9 months later, remarket the entire program all over again, incept that program, deal with all of the changing supply chain issues that came along with COVID. But we're very proud to have opened the park last year, and it seems to be met with really enthusiastic public reception.
Yeah, so far I've heard great things. And just for the record, we're recording this 6 years to the day that the national emergency was declared for COVID, March 13th,
You're
2020. Isn't
telling
that amazing?
I was in Italy for my wedding on March 13th of 2020, and we had to cancel the whole thing.
Oh,
You can come home. But I do have a happy ending for you. 1 year ago today, we went back to Italy to the same place and finished our wedding. So
excellent.
happy ending to that story.
Yes. Did you buy one of those $1 villas that they want you to fix up and then?
No, we just rented from one very kind gentleman outside Sorrento.
Okay. It's excellent. So that's got to be for a risk manager, the theme park that from conception to completion, that's got to be like a dream job if you're into construction, if you're into risk, or if you're just into having fun, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, when people tell me that insurance is a boring industry, I ask if they've ever received an email about the Ministry of Magic or super silly fun land or a giant theme park like Epic. The theme parks are certainly one of the most interesting things I get to do.
That's great. And obviously it created a whole bunch of new jobs for people, right?
Absolutely.
So there's that. Have you had a chance to walk the grounds and see what or how your work has materialized?
Yes, we have. So last November, Sandy took the entire global risk management department down to Orlando for our offsite all hands meeting. And we were able to walk through the park, experience some of the rides. Really was nice to get back without a hard hat because, of course, we did our site inspections throughout construction.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now, on a very serious note here, where are they storing all the stuff from the Back to the Future ride from way back?
I don't have that information for you. And even if
you're holding out on me there.
I can neither confirm nor deny that allegation.
We will take one more quick break because I want to tell you a little bit more about my friends at the Spencer Educational Foundation. I want to tell you about the openings and the deadlines for various Spencer Educational Foundation grants. The Risk Manager on Campus application period will open April 1st, 2026, and it will close on June 30th. Grant awardees, colleges and universities are typically notified in September. Now let's talk about course development grants. The application deadline for interval number 2 will be on June 15th, 2026, and award notifications will be sent out in late July. General grants will open on May 1st, and the application deadline is July 30th. And internship grant applications open on August 15th and close on October 15th. Links to each of these grants are on this episode's show notes. And of course, you can visit spencered.org for more information. And now let's conclude our interview with RIMS Delaware Valley Chapter President Tom Armstrong. Since we're talking about fun, let's talk about the Delaware Valley Chapter, because you see that I'm wearing the 75th anniversary RIMS shirt, which I wear for almost all of our recordings. And the Delaware Valley Chapter is celebrating its 75th year. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's an exciting time to be in your neck of the woods. To what do you attribute the chapter's longevity?
Well, in some element, it's simple luck. We were geographically close to New York, so we were the second chapter to be established. We can't go back and become earlier. That said, I think we've had just a series of amazing individuals in this chapter, including Robert Cartwright, who you mentioned, and a number of other folks who have made the chapter what it is. We've also got a really rich pool of talent in the Philadelphia area. And I do have to point out, Delaware Valley refers to the river, not just the state of Delaware. So when we say Delaware Valley, we mean the greater Philadelphia area. We've got insurance companies. Ben Franklin founded the first insurance company here in Philadelphia. We've got a long history of insurance here in the city, not to mention quite a number of awesome companies that are headquartered here, not to mention Comcast and Aramark is two of them. So really, it's just the enthusiasm and the willingness to step in of these great professionals that we have here in the area.
Excellent. So how do you maintain engagement among your members? This is something I think is important for other chapter leaders to hear. You got a 75th anniversary, you're going strong. What's your secret?
I don't know that we have a secret. We just have a hard-headed insistence on continuing to persist. Like a lot of organizations coming out of COVID, it's gotten harder and harder to keep people showing up in person. You know, we hold our meetings the first Tuesday of every month at 8 a.m., and that can be a tough trek, notwithstanding that we have some members that drive 2 hours from Lancaster or Baltimore to come to our meetings. We're taking a look at the results of some recent member surveys. We might be making some changes to improve that, but really it's just down to we have a great community and we try to foster what's already there to continue.
Do you have a favorite method or event that attracts new members? Like golf is one of the classic ones, but I'm not a golfer, so that's not for me. But what do you have and what do you use?
Yeah, we have a couple of different social events throughout the year that stay popular. Golf is absolutely a huge one. We get about 100, 110 golfers every year.
That's great.
But also in the past 3 or 4 years, we've started doing a Phillies outing, which is targeted toward rising risk professionals, but is intended to cross-pollinate with some of our more mature risk professionals. And last year, we exceeded the 50 tickets we had already bought, added an extra 15, and showed up at the Citizens Bank Park with 65 people. So that's the kind of thing that we think helps engage members. We also try to partner with our local universities. Rory McGargy, who's our vice president of the chapter and also the chair of our Rising Risk Committee, partnered last year with St. Joseph's University and helped them win a Black and Gold Award through Gamma Iota Sigma for the Networking for Newbies event that he put together. In talking with that chapter, they had said some of our students just don't know how to interact with professionals. So we put together this event to help teach them to do exactly that.
See, now that's a fascinating idea right there, because those rising risk professionals, you got to figure they were in high school or middle school when COVID hit. So I don't want to say we've been waiting for this information to surface, but we've been tracking sort of how that disconnect would play out later on in their careers and in their personal lives, of course, because everybody's used to a virtual setting or got used to it and then had to transition back. Do you work with that? I mean, it sounds like your rising risk professionals do very well. So are you finding that you went back to the 8 a.m. in-person monthly meetings to get away from that disconnect?
So more to come. We're looking at changing for our upcoming programming year, which will start in September of next year. So we're taking the results of a membership survey that we just recently did, and we're looking at how we can preserve what works of our current approach and enhance it to bring in some folks who might not be able to be in person at 8 a.m.
Gotcha. And you live near Philadelphia, right?
I'm inside Philadelphia borders by about 4 blocks.
Inside Philadelphia borders by about 4 blocks. Do you ever see them filming Abbott Elementary there?
No, I don't see Abbott Elementary. No, I used to live in South Philly, but I moved out before they started that show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a great show too.
Not one of ours, but
it's not one of yours. What's also great is that May 3rd through the 6th, we've got RISKWORLD coming up. It's going to be in Philadelphia. A lot of people are stoked. I'm extremely excited. I haven't been there. I haven't been to Philadelphia in years. I'm also very excited. I don't have to take a plane for this time. So that's going to be great. We're going to be in your neck of the woods. Like we said, does the Delaware Valley chapter have any special events planned as the host city or the host chapter?
Yes, we're going to kind of focus in on our membership to celebrate our 75th year. So on Friday, May 1st, we are going to welcome our members as well as some sponsors and some leaders from the larger RIMS organization to a reception. We've not yet announced the venue, but that's coming very soon. But yeah, we're looking forward to that event and definitely have to extend our thanks to the sponsors that are making it possible. We're passionate about our city. We're looking forward to showing the industry the best that Philadelphia has to offer, because it's not just our 75th. As you mentioned, it's RIMS 76th. And it also is 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence right here in Philadelphia. So what better reason to celebrate?
So Tom, what's the website that everybody can go to learn more about the Delaware Valley chapter and to apply for membership?
Yeah, we'd invite you to visit us at delawarevalley.rims.org, or you can find us on LinkedIn or email any one of our board members.
All right. Excellent. Well, Tom, it has been a pleasure to see you again and to get to know you through this episode. I look forward to seeing you at RISKWORLD May 3rd through the 6th in Philadelphia. And good luck to you and congratulations again on your 75th.
Thank you for having me and appreciate it. See you at RIMS.
Special thanks again to Tom Armstrong for joining us here on RIMScast. We wish him and all the members of the RIMS Delaware Valley Chapter, past and present, a happy 75th anniversary. A link to the chapter's page is on this episode's show notes. And as we said, we look forward to seeing many of those Delaware Valley Chapter members at RISKWORLD, which will be held May 3rd through the 6th in Philadelphia. Visit rims.org/riskworld to register. And now I want to speak about a topic near and dear to my heart, sponsorships. You can sponsor a RIMScast episode either on our publicly facing weekly show, that's this show, or with a dedicated episode. RIMScast has produced special episodes for JB Boda, The Hartford, Alliant, Zurich, Highwire, AXA XL, Prudent Insurance Brokers, High Trust, and Aon. Links to sponsored episodes are on our show notes. RIMScast has a global audience comprised of risk and insurance professionals, legal professionals, students, business leaders, C-suite executives, and more. Let's collaborate and help you reach them. Contact pd@rims.org for more information. Let's talk about RIMS membership, folks. Become a RIMS member and get access to the tools, thought leadership, and network you need to succeed. Visit rims.org/membership or email membershipdept@rims.org for more information. And let's also talk about Risk Knowledge. This is the RIMS searchable content library that provides relevant information for today's risk professionals. Available materials include RIMS executive reports, survey findings, contributed articles, industry research, benchmarking data, and more. For the best reporting on the profession of risk management, check out Risk Management Magazine, the Society's official monthly publication. You can find us on rmmagazine.com. It is written and published by the best minds in risk management. My name is Justin Smulison, Business Content Manager here at RIMS. Please remember to subscribe to RIMScast on your favorite podcasting app. Email us at content@rims.org. Practice good risk management, stay safe, and thank you again for your continuous support.